As you can see, we've made it to Boston now. We're on the steps of the State House. So we're going to go inside and get a nice tour of the State House because it's pretty quiet today, and I think we'll be able to get some real good shots inside of some of the best places in the State House. But right now, we're outside the State House, and I just wanted to point out that the front stairs and the entranceway are only opened on a few occasions. They're closed now, and there's only 2 occasions you're going to be allowed in there, and I'll talk about them when we get back inside. So I'm excited to have you with me. I hope you enjoyed this tour of the State House, and right now we're going to head in and see what we got going on inside today. As I mentioned outside, that there's only 2 occasions when the front doors of the State House are open, and it's a rare day when you see it, and that is when a governor leaves office or takes office, and there is a changing on the stairs in the front of the building when they hand the Bible and some other significant artifacts to each other. That's when these doors are opened, and you'll see the famous walk that the governor takes, the last walk and the first walk to come in and address the chambers upon inauguration. Or when a visiting president or head of state comes, not Secretary of State or something, it has to be the visiting president or chief of state. That's happened on a few occasions since I've been here. One time the president of Greece came here. I was invited to that, being some Greek heritage. These doors are open, but this is the back side of it. And you'd never know if you came into the State House that this is actually the front steps of the State House, because it looks like an innocuous little wall with a little bit of, souvenir stand in front of it. But I assure you, on the grand occasions that it's open, it's a very beautiful spot. And if you ever see it on TV or you come here, this is the front doors, and just like it looked when I mentioned from the outside, these are the grand stairs that come up into it. But this is what it looks like. And other than that, this is in the area where we have tour guides come. And these guys here, I'm sorry, Patrick and Ryan, was it? Russell, right. Patrick and Russell here. They're, as always, tour guides available to give a State House tour to anyone who comes up to the State House. Because as I mentioned before, this is the people's building. This is your building. And as such, you have the right to come in here virtually anytime you want, if it's during business hours. Come in, speak to your legislators, come in, get a tour of the State House, and these guys and people just like them are always available. They're very educated, very informative. They give free tours of the State House for any individuals or groups that come in. So take full advantage of them because they're great. They know stories about everything in this building, and it's a great place to start your tour of the State House right here. I'm just going to quickly show you, this is sort of like the heart of the State House, especially in the public area, which you get a chance to see if you come here. This is just below where the governor's office is over here above me, the Senate chambers over that side above me, and the House chambers on the back side above me. Those are the 3rd floor. This is the 2nd floor area where you essentially come in, if you were to come in the front stairs, which as I said, you can't do except on rare occasions. But we come into this area called Nurses Hall, and it's really, occasionally, again, we have a number of press conferences and public events here. People come if they're recognized at the State House. Oftentimes we do it in this area. They're set up for chairs. And as you can see, we call this Nurses Hall because it is dedicated to the statue, which is to the Army nurses from 1861 to 1865. And this was commemorated by the Mass Department of Daughters of Veterans in 1914. And after that, we come into, you sort of enter into, again, like I said, the heart of the State House here, where this is the Hall of Flags. And it's a very beautiful area. I've never seen the balconies open, but it's a really beautiful spot. And I will tell you, if folks have had a chance to come to other State Houses, my family now, we sort of have a hobby of going to every State House and then we go to another state. And yet I would say Massachusetts State House is as beautiful as any I've been in. And this is really one of the more beautiful rooms in the State House. It's got some beautiful paintings, and it has various historical flags in the history of Massachusetts. And Massachusetts has one of the great histories in the country. Obviously, we're the 6th state to sign the Declaration of Independence, but we are one of the original 13 colonies, of course, and have some of the greatest history. So these flags represent some great history we have in our country. Some of them are the original flags. They really are, at this point in time, illuminated photographs of the actual flag. The flags got so deteriorated that they've put them in a safe down in the basement of the State House, but these are exact duplicates of what you'd be seeing, and they're really interesting. And I recommend when you come to State House, make sure you come through the Hall of Flags. Then we'll enter into where the grand staircase is, where many of you have come, whether you've been in a school group, 3rd grade class trip, or another larger group. This is one of the most famous staircases in Massachusetts. It's a unique staircase because it had a mold that they used for the iron castings here. And once this was cast and it was put up, they broke the mold. So it has an unusual and unique iron outlay in the artwork. So this is what we call the grand staircase, and as you can see, this grand lady is using our grand staircase. So many school groups come, and if you see a picture, they're probably taken right here. This is what they call the Great Hall of Massachusetts, and what we have today is the Mental Health Recovery Recognition Ceremony going on, where oftentimes as I'm in the building or you come visit us, you'll see that there are many things happening across the building. Today's kind of quiet, but this is an important ceremony recognizing some tremendous workers here in Massachusetts who've done so much great work. So I just wanted to show you, this is the Great Hall. And as you can see, these are the flags of almost every town in Massachusetts has a flag up here. And Princeton is actually designing one that will be flown on the 250th anniversary of the town. We're going to do that this January. So this is a hall again where there are many ceremonies take place. John, I just wanted to show folks that this is when you come up to the State House. This is the outside of the governor's office called the executive branch, as you can see. And we're just going to have a quick entrance into the hallway. This is the waiting room for the governor's office. Obviously well protected by our state police, who are good friends, runners, and nut eaters like I am. But I just want to take you in here. This is the lobby of the governor's office. And if anyone ever has the chance to come in and has a meeting with the governor, lieutenant governor, or the staff, you would come and sit in this area. And they have a tradition of putting up the more recent governor's portraits in the hallway here. So as you can see, we have the Swifts, Lucci, Well, Dukakis on this side, and that's John Volpe, Francis Sargent, and Ed King on the other. So these are really like the last 7 governors we've had in Massachusetts. And there's Rachel and Geraldine back there who are working for the governor's office, taking phone calls. If you call, they'll pick up and shift you to where you need to go. So thank you for all your work. And that's the governors and lieutenant governors, chief of staff sit back in that office there, and as we'll be able to see the governor's office is back behind those doors as the lieutenant governor's office. So this is just an interesting place in the building and a lot of history in here.